So thank you for joining us to celebrate our wonderful reunion attendees. This should be a fun and joyous celebration. In addition to those who have came back today to celebrate their class reunions, we also have 3 honored guests with us that we will be celebrating who received Kirksville Osteopathic Alumni Association awards this year. So it's going to be fun, My name is Kim Blackman, and I actually will serve as the Master of Ceremonies today. And the first thing that we'd like to do is kind of go around the room, and I see we've got some people missing that are coming with us. So let's start over here. We've got the class of 1966 in the first row. So they are celebrating their 50-year reunion. Immediately behind them, we have the class of 1991. They're celebrating their 25th year reunion. And located in the row directly behind them, we have several members of the Gold Medallion Club, those who have previously celebrated their 50-year reunion. And then we also have a few other attendees who have came with their spouses that were in one of the reunion classes, and they are also KCOM alumni. So we appreciate your support. We have some CME participants who've joined us, as well as students. And in the back on the right here, we have our Board of Trustees, which I'm sure Dr. Phelps will elaborate on. Thank you very much for all you do. And several faculty members who support everything that goes on here. And soon we should be joined by, I believe there's 18 foreign dignitaries that are coming in with Jason Haxton. And once he gets here, we'll let Jason introduce those individuals to you as well. Gotcha. So he's been a little sidetracked, so hopefully he'll join us soon. Yeah, so it's my pleasure to introduce to you Sean Summerer. Dr. Summerer joined the ATSU President's staff as the Vice President of University Advancement in 2014, and he oversees the departments of Advancement Services, Development, Communications and Marketing, and the museum. So he's a very busy man, and we all enjoy having Sean around in his leadership. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. I want to thank you for the introduction, and I have just a few very short things to say. First off, I want to thank the advancement staff for putting this event together, for this weekend together, all the people who participate. It goes so well, and I know that they work very, very hard at this throughout the year, especially alumni relations in my area. So I thank you all for your work on that very, very much. The second thing I wanted to do was to give a shout out to the state of Missouri and the city of Kirksville for the weather. That has been it's very impressive. I have not been, I shouldn't say this in front of the president, but I haven't been very productive the last few days because I've been walking around looking at the beauty outside. But I hope he will forgive me for that, and know that I'll work twice as hard in the future. So anyway, it's just been a delight. And there are tours in the afternoon, and it's the weather is predicted to be very, very nice. So I hope you take part of those. I have the distinct pleasure to introduce to you a graduate of 1984 from ATSU, KCOM, and that would be our president, Dr. Craig Phelps.
Thank you. We're going to put a GPS on him just so we know where he goes. What an honor to honor our alumni and honor our recipients of recognition. So thank you. I'd like to have our Board of Trustee members please stand up again, and if you'll look back and give a wave and say hello. Yay. ATSU University would not exist without the dedication of our great Board of Trustees. Think about it. Every 90 days, they leave home for 3 or 4 days. They pay their expenses. They leave family and jobs, and they travel to a place like Kirksville, or they travel to the Arizona campus or other places. And they commit to 3 years at a time with a maximum of 9 years. They can come back after 9 years. So we've actually had some members, none here today, that have served the university for 18 years. Imagine every 90 days going to a board meeting. They also take on all the fiduciary responsibilities of the university that are inherent in being a board member. Do we have any former board members that are here? Oftentimes we'll have folks within the alumni recognition group that have been former board of trustee members or other board members from the community. Yes, thank you for your service. And I think you're 52 years, graduate, your 52nd anniversary. Very good. And we get a chance to visit sometimes on CME programs and things, so it's great to see you again, Doc. So thank you very much. I would like to have the ATSU faculty and staff please stand up, if you'll stand real quick. And sometimes you don't get to see them together. But they are the glue, they are the engine, they are the inspiration to our students and our students, and even to our board members who get to spend time and hear about the wonderful things that are happening on our campus. We have our deans representing our different colleges on campus, on the Missouri campus, that you're going to hear from them a little bit, but I'd like the deans to stand up, and if you'll stand up too. We have one of our associate deans also with us today, and so you'll be hearing from them individually, but yay, thank you for all you do. A wonderful, wonderful group. Boy, it is my honor to kick this off. We'll be celebrating 125 years next year, so we hope some of you are able to come back for the 125th anniversary. It's going to be an exciting time in Kirksville. It'll be a wonderful celebration, a chance to learn more about the history of the university, to celebrate with the town of Kirksville, and we're very excited and very happy to kind of announce that this is going to be even a better event and a bigger event next year. Thanks to the folks who put the CME on, who put the optic boot camp on prior to the arrival of everybody, and hopefully we can maybe get those kind of working together a little bit more coordinated in the future, but thank you very much for that. We have a few students here, those in the white coat. If you'll stand up, because you're the reason why we're all here. Is our students. Yes, thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce our board chair, Ann Thilke. Once again, volunteering her time along with all of our other board members to make sure that the university stays on course. It's true to its vision and its mission. It upholds the principles of osteopathic medicine in all of the areas that we have programs in. Remember now that we have 6 colleges at ATSU. You think about that. 2 osteopathic medical schools, 2 dental schools, an online graduate health studies college that you will hear about, and we have the Arizona School of Health Sciences. So when you think about the influence that you have and you've had on the development of health professionals, we now have about 3,500 students enrolled at ATSU. And each of those individuals are exposed to the osteopathic principles, are exposed to learning about the roles and responsibilities of different providers. And I saw Dr. Givitz back here, the historian of osteopathic medicine, along with Jason Haxton, but from the scholarly side, Dr. Givitz is our senior vice president, and I don't know if we have any other of the president's staff, but if you'll please stand. Sean, we've already introduced, but his norms I see, and Lori, you're here. Lori received the Windsor Award this morning, George Windsor Award, for outstanding service to the university, recognized by the university leadership. So congratulations, Lori, for all you do. And we'd like to have you come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome. I just want to let you know, a wise person told me that whenever you're asked to speak, accept the opportunity, but be brief, be funny, and be seated. So I do want to thank those of you who are back for a reunion, for your forward thinking, your embracing of whole person healthcare, and obviously the rest of the country's catching up with you. ATSU is unique in that it was the first one, but there's the growth of the DO movement is huge. So thank you for embracing it and obviously serving as advocates on behalf of it. I do want you to rest assured that the board is passionate and loves this university, and we have great leadership. I'm a firm believer that the culture of the institution begins at the top, and Dr. Phelps is doing a great job. And without exception, when we meet with students, they tell us, the reason I came to ATSU is because when I interviewed here, the faculty made it very clear that they love us. And even when we got here, that continues. And so it is a caring organization. You help set part of that culture, and so we're eternally grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thilke. This is what happens when you start losing your eyesight. It takes a little bit longer to do everything. That's the next to go. So each year during the OMED AOA convention, the Kirksville Osteopathic Alumni Association recognizes and honors award recipients, and a few of these honorees were unable to make the trip to Anaheim, California this year. So consequently, we thought this might be an excellent time to honor them in front of their colleagues or former colleagues for a couple of them and their peers. So at this time, we would like to have Dr. Phelps come up and help us with this. The three individuals we're going to be honoring all were recognized for distinguished service in 2016 by the KOAA, the Alumni Association, and each of them has provided outstanding service and or financial support to ATSU KCOM. So as I call their names and read, if I could have you, give them their award, that would be wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Phelps. So first, we have a joint award, and I'm pretty certain that most everyone in the room is familiar with Peggy Michael and Kathy Stevenson. So if the two of you would come forward, please. Thank you. So for over 30 years, ATSU faculty, staff, and students have been greeted by Peggy and Kathy as they enter the Matthews bookstore on the Missouri campus. When asked what is the best part of working at the bookstore, both Peggy and Kathy immediately responded with similar answers. It's the relationships we've formed with students and faculty, and watching these students graduate and return with their families. They've seen several legacies come through here, and they've seen numerous generations, and they've been privileged to interact with those second-generation ATSU students, and they just now think that it's a super special place for them to be and always will be in their heart. Thank you both very much. The next Distinguished Honor Award goes to Thomas Tim Tucker. Mr. Tucker has been instrumental in the development of ATSU's Learning Resources Department, where he served as a director since 2000, and he just recently retired, so congratulations on that as well. He began with a staff of 2, and the department grew to over 10 staff members, and they now provide services to Missouri and Arizona campuses, as well as all the online student programs. And through Tim's dedication to providing academic advising, counseling, learning enrichment, and disability services, Mr. Tucker has greatly impacted numerous students that have came through ATSU. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. So if you didn't get one of the KOAA Honors Excellence books on the way in, be certain to pick one up on the way out, because all of those who were honored in 2017 or 16, excuse me, are in that book, and there's a short bio in regard to each of the honorees. And we do have a couple others in the room who actually received honors this year as well. I see Dr. Stan Grogg, who was Alumnus of the Year. Dr. Norman Gevitz, who received honorary membership to the Alumni Association. And have I missed anyone that's in here? We have several former Alumni Association presidents, Dr. Sells, Dr. Drew, there's several of them in the room. So thank you all for your service.
You might say Barbara Grogg got one too.
She did. She's not here. But Dr. Grogg's wife, Barbara Grogg, who we like to refer to as Saint Barbara, received an honorary membership in the Alumni Association, which is very well deserved. Barbara has impacted numerous lives throughout her course of being involved with the osteopathic profession, and regularly organizes and takes students from our schools as well as numerous other osteopathic schools on mission-related trips and provides excellent clinical experiences. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. So now we're going to hear from three outstanding deans of our Missouri campus. First, Dr. Margaret Wilson, a native and longtime ATSU KCOM employee, or native of Kirksville, serves as the dean of the Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine. Dr. Wilson graduated from KCOM in 1982. Dr. Margaret Wilson, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you and welcome. So happy to see all of you here today. You know, this is just a wonderful opportunity. Look at the people in the room and look at the different factions of our profession and of the institution. It's just wonderful. I'm so grateful to have had time to spend with the fun classes of 1966 and 1991 last night. And that's my favorite part of Founders Day, is listening to the stories and the memories that they have, and just the love that they have for their experience that they had here in Kirksville. So thank you for being here, and I know you enjoyed it, and we're just so grateful to have you part of this. The international visitors, again, thank you so much for being here. Welcome, benvenuto, bonjour. We have quite a representation from around the globe, and we're just so grateful again to have you spend time with us. You know, we're so proud of this institution and what it's achieved, and again, Dr. Phelps spoke to how it has spread long beyond, I think, maybe the vision that initially AT still had. We're so proud of our students. We have the best and the brightest. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the future of healthcare is wonderful because of these young people that are transforming into these absolutely compassionate, competent, wonderful physicians and healthcare providers. We're so grateful for the time that we get to spend with them. Our faculty, I want to take the opportunity to also recognize and thank them for all the hard work and the dedication, the sheer dedication every day to make sure that what we do here is good work. Every year, I guess because I'm kind of an osteopathy nerd, I try to give a little quote of A.T. Still, and I don't know who appreciates it other than Dr. Altman said he appreciated it. He's gone. He left, but he left already. He got on a plane. But I want to give you my quote for this year, and I want you to stop and think about it because it really kind of touched me. Of what value is a mind when placed in the brain of a coward? If mind is a gift of God to man for his use, let him use it. A mind is not in use when doing no good. Now stop and think of that in the context of where we are today for our profession. I mean, look at the growth of our profession. It's incredible. Not just in all the changes going on within our own, our own nation, our own healthcare system, the ACGME and the AOA and all that's going on there, the growth of international osteopathy. Stop and think of the challenge that AT still left to us. Be courageous. Don't be a coward. Use your brain. Use this gift that we have. And do good. So that's the message I would like to leave with you today on Founders Day. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. So next, we have with us Dr. Katherine Adler. Dr. Don Altman is the Dean of the College of Graduate Health Studies, and he couldn't be with us today, as Dr. Wilson mentioned, and he has asked that Dr. Katherine Adler, DHA, FACHE, Associate Dean for Academic Success and Assessment, speak on his behalf. Dr. Adler holds a doctorate in Healthcare Administration and Leadership degree from the Medical University of South Carolina. Dr. Adler, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, making sure you're all awake. I always so enjoy giving this short welcome. I'm humbled and honored to be in the same room with such committed and talented individuals. Stop and think of all of the lives that have already been impacted or will be impacted by the people in this room. It's pretty overwhelming. All from our little sleepy town of Kirksville and ATSU University. We do things pretty gosh darn big. So more than just a welcome, this is also a thank you because of the strength and stature of ATSU as a leader in health sciences education. The College of Graduate Health Studies is able to carry the ATSU mission forward with students who may not be clinicians, but are making a huge impact because of their involvement in the health professions. To our distinguished board members, dignitaries, alumni, and to our outstanding students and faculty, I welcome you to Founders Day and thank you with heartfelt gratitude for all that you have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adler. Thank you. So we have a recent addition to the ATSU team. Dr. Dwight Macleod recently joined ATSU as the Dean of the Missouri School of Dentistry and Oral Health. He received a Doctorate of Dental Surgery degree from Howard University College of Dentistry in 1990 and a Certificate in General Practice Dentistry from the Veteran Administration Health Center in 91. He also received a Master of Science and a Certificate of Periodontics from the University of Iowa School of Dentistry in 1994. Dr. Macleod, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Great. Yeah. On behalf of Missouri School of Dentistry and Oral Health, I would like to welcome everyone. Welcome to our distinguished guests, alumni, faculty, students, and staff. For me, it certainly is a privilege to be here, and I'm very proud and humbled to be a part of this great institution. And I'm looking forward to the time, next year, this time, when we will have our first group of alumni from Missouri School of Dentistry and Oral Health. I think that will be a glorious occasion for us. But also, I would like to congratulate our award recipients for the great job that you have done, very, very deserving. So I hope everyone will have a great time, and thanks again for the opportunity to be a part of this program.
Thank you. No, I mean now. Right there. So now I would like to introduce Clayton Starnes. Clayton is a second-year KCOM student, and he is currently the KCOM Student Government Association President. So please help me welcome Clayton. Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Like Dean Wilson said, we do have some of the best and brightest here, and I often wonder what I'm doing here. There must be another Clayton Starnes that got mixed up. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished alumni and guests, it's an honor to be here to say to you, welcome home. As students, we feel extremely fortunate to have been adopted into the KCOM family, and I do mean family. It was very evident for me when I did an interview here that there was something special about this school. Other schools, to me, the best way I can describe it when I did interviews, it felt sterile. When I walked into the building here, I actually saw smiles on students. I felt a warmth and love from the staff during my interviews. So yes, I knew immediately that there was something different. Our school enjoys the respect that comes from 124-year tradition of excellence. One of my first times climbing the stairs to the anatomy lab, I felt a sense of humility as I pondered about all of the physicians that had climbed those stairs before me. Would I become the type of physician that they would be proud of? Will I have the same impact on my community as you have had on yours? These questions don't stem from a lack of self-confidence, but it's more from the recognition that our school has produced some of the most talented and gifted clinicians. You may have noticed a few changes in Kirksville since your formal training here. There's probably a few new buildings, maybe a couple, maybe 2 or 3 more stoplights. And my favorite, there's a Chick-fil-A here now. But I will tell you, the schools, the buildings, the labs, the restaurants are not what make our medical school up. It's the people, the faculty, the staff, the students, our alumni. I want to say thank you again for being here today. Thank you for staying connected with us as students and as a school. My gratitude can't express it enough, but we emulate. I've always been one of those little guys that looked up to heroes, and I wanted to become, when I was 5, I wanted to become Superman. When I got older, I've always looked to other people and wanted to emulate the way that they live their lives. I found myself here in Kirksville because of a physician in the ER that I wanted to emulate, and I know others look to you as well, and I just wanted to say thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Clayton. Thank you so much. Before we go on and begin to introduce the class of 1991 and 1966, we have now been joined by most of our foreign dignitaries. So I would like to ask Jason Haxton if he wouldn't mind introducing the groups that you've got represented to us. Thanks.
Every year we seem to grow the number of international guests that we have. And last night was great because we got to have a little bit of get together with our new student group at ATSU, Texas, philosophy and history of this great profession. Oh, thanks so much. So, and so we were able to recognize for the first time our international guests last night, and they come great distance. As you know, there's no easy way to get to Kirksville. And it's even harder if you're in Sweden or Italy or London or any of the many places, Holland. And so we actually have representation from Canada and throughout the world here. Over 20 different international osteopaths have come to partake in education, training, and to come home, because this is their roots too. So I just would like to recognize maybe by countries. We have our Swedish group, and if they'll stand up for just a moment. And the outstanding Swedish team actually has Marika Jevbrot, who is the president of the European Federation of Osteopaths, 17 countries coming together to find consistency in curriculum and in education to make osteopathy a standard throughout the world. So she's an amazing person. From Holland, we have Eric, who actually represents, similar to our student group, EVOS, which actually, once you're a professional, this higher philosophy and training to be the best osteopath you can. And so it's open to the world. If you guys want to join EVOS, it's available to you. So thank you, Eric. After the United States, the next place to really get osteopathy growing was basically London and England through John Martin Littlejohn, and we have Stephen and Daryl, if you'll please stand, representing the schools, the British School of Osteopathy. So again, as you can see, we just don't have guests, but they're amazing. These are professors that work and teach across the pond from us. And the newest school in Italy, we have our Italian group, if they'll stand up, please. And I don't see any, where are our Canadians? Our Canucks here? They actually have a cabin at the lake, and they said, every morning it's dark, every night it's dark. We'd like to actually see this for at least a little bit because we know it's a beautiful setting, Thousand Hills Park. So that's where we put them, but they've yet to see it. So they might actually be out there enjoying the park. So again, thank you. And again, we look forward to growing in our international relationships. So thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you. So at this time, it is a great pleasure to begin with introducing our distinguished guests, those from the classes of 66, 91, and the Gold Medallion Club. Dr. Margaret Wilson will be presenting special recognition pins first to the class of 1991, those 25-year recipients, and then we'll move on to the class of 1966 and honor our Gold Medallion 50-year reunion members. So the class of 1991, we could still get you lined up, that would be great, is celebrating their 25th class reunion. And as I call your name, please come forward to receive your 25-year silver anniversary recognition pin. So I'd like to preface this by mentioning that many of you throughout your educational continuum have done fellowships. And so last year, Dr. James Adams, who's in the back of the room with us, came back and received his 25-year pin with the class that he started with. However, he actually graduated with this class. So we thought that we should leave him in and let everyone see that he is a part of this class as well. Thank you for coming, Dr. Adams. So next we have Dr. Jenny Alexopoulos. Dr. Alexopoulos shared with us that she remembers celebrating with her classmates at Thousand Hills Park, and that she's had a group picture on her mantle for the past 25 years. She keeps these folks very close in her heart. Thank you. Congratulations. She's currently in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we heard a little from Dr. Grog over here, a shout out for Tulsa. Our next recipient is Dr. Rebecca Bharti. Dr. Bharti is in Winchester, Kentucky. She remembers, and this is kind of funny, Gunner Bingo, the talent show, the Halloween party at the Atlas Club, and the Anatomy Lab. And of course, she remembers close friends Renee and Jenny, among many others. She said, we have a wonderful class, and that was certainly evident from all of that they shared last night. Thank you. Next, joining us is Dr. Joseph Birch. Dr. Birch resides in Lapeer, Michigan. And when asked what he remembers, he said Dr. Mock made it a friendly learning environment immediately. He did everything he could to make us succeed. And I remember Lori Badzinski Nielsen, Gary Takahashi, and Dave Goldman was always happy. And I don't think that's changed. Thank you. He also said that Dr. Goldman never got upset, and Galen and Lenora Nepper and all the camaraderie among their class was important to him. And of course, next, Dr. David Goldman, and what a nice intro. Dr. Goldman resides in Jacksonville, Illinois. He practices psychiatry. He vividly remembers his first urology patient. He shared a story last night in regard to this because Dr. Goldman had spent time in the family business driving a semi. And when he went in to meet this gentleman, he was trying to break the ice and warm him up a little bit for the exam. And he began a conversation and asked what he did. And basically the man told him he probably wouldn't relate because he drove a semi, which is what Dr. Goldman had been doing for several years and would drive to St. Louis from Springfield every Friday and park in St. Louis. And so what they learned was that they would park next to each other in the same lot every Friday for years. So I thought that was quite coincidental. So his wife Rhonda is here with him today. Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Karen Jacobs. And actually, you know what? Let me go back here. Oops, you got it? You can go back to Dr. Guzman. Got it. Okay. Dr. Rodrigo Guzman was planning to join us and didn't make it. So we went ahead and left some of the slides in for those that thought they were planning to come, just so you could see where they're at now and what's going on in their life. He enjoys golf, taekwondo, and traveling, and he's in Kansas City, Missouri, practicing emergency medicine. Thank you. Thank you. So now then, sorry, Dr. Jacobs. Dr. Karen Jacobs, who lives in Marian, Indiana, and practices urology. And I have to shout out, she grew up in Winnigan, which is just west of here, so very close, in a very small community. And she remembers the entire gang and states they know who they are. She's married to John Tonys. Thank you, Dr. Jacobs. So Dr. John Coolin was unable to join us today, but he is residing in Egg Harbor City, New Jersey, and practicing urgent care medicine. He shared with us that he remembers long nights studying while living at the Atlas House and enjoying those well-deserved downtimes with all of the classmates hanging out and de-stressing. Specifically, Donnie Sansom listening to some great music and Jim LaGrua bouncing up and down the stairs on yet another project. So, and moving on, we have Dr. Elizabeth McCleskey from Madison, Alabama. Dr. McCleskey practices family medicine, and she remembers most meeting her future husband at Country Kitchen. A classmate who was a pilot also rented a Cessna while they were here and flew them over all of Kirksville and Thousand Hills, and that was a special memory. And I believe her husband was the manager at Country Kitchen, and that's where they met, and they're still together. And his name is Scott Sables, and he's here with Dr. McCleskey. Thank you. Dr. Karen Neubauer lives in Leawood, Kansas, in the Kansas City area. She practices dermatology and specifically Mohs surgery. And she actually has two daughters and one son, 21, 18, and the youngest is 13. She's a mom to theater, baseball, basketball, and dance, and stays busy all the time. And as they shared with us last night, she was the official, transcriber? Note service? And so when they started out, she said she would go back every evening and that they would all take the notes, get them to her. She'd get them transcribed and get them back out in the morning. And then, of course, it got to where it would be like, well, we've got a couple days to do, and then we've got like several piled up to transcribe. And so I understand that someone last night said that they expected the reunion dinner last night to be transcribed and available to everyone this morning. Dr. Kimberly Perry. And Dr. Perry is active with ATSU in numerous capacities and has served in the St. Louis area, precepting students and as an assistant dean for quite some time. Her specialty is emergency medicine. She remembers most hanging out with an awesome senior student in her second year, who just happens to still be here with her today. And she also remembers Too Tall's, the comedy club, the Oz. And she has Dr. Chris Perry with her. He's graduated in the class of 1989. And their son, Andrew Perry, is a second-year student. Dr. David Rebuck is not here today, but he's currently in Hamilton, New York, practicing anesthesiology. And he remembers the exhilarating competition of seeing the scores posted after all the tests, the friendliness of the Kirksvillians in his term, and the interesting way some of the local people said roof instead of roof, like OO in a book. Dr. Barbara Sarb was not able to join us today, but she sends her love, and she said, I miss y'all. She's from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and practicing interventional pain management and neurology. Dr. John Schlepphorst is joining us today. He resides in Springfield, Illinois, and practices in both Springfield and Quincy. He enjoys golf, playing cards, and traveling. And his story was quite entertaining. He said that the class president at one point had decided that the entire class should be tested for drugs and wanted urine tests for the entire class. So one of their classmates went to the pathology professor and managed to get at least 50, if not more, urine cups. And so the next morning, they were all filled on that class president's desk. So next we have Dr. Bob Schneider. Dr. Schneider is here locally in Kirksville, resides with his wife Sue. They have 4 adult children, 5 grandchildren, and he enjoys traveling, volunteering for clinical missions, golf, ballroom dancing, which was a new thing for us to learn, and spending time with his adult children and grandchildren. Dr. Schneider, thank you. Dr. Billy Straight. Dr. Schneider and Dr. Straight both co-chaired the CME program and put a tremendous amount of work into the educational program for the class reunion. We appreciate that greatly. Dr. Straight lives in Columbia, Missouri, and is on faculty here at ATSU as well. He remembers that his first day of anatomy lab, they were all nervous as it was and went in, and the second-year students had hid in the closet and jumped out with their faces painted white to scare all the new students. He has 1 daughter, and his wife's name is Ashley, and she unfortunately couldn't make it today. Thank you, Dr. Schneider. Dr. Kevin Sat Molar. Dr. Sat Molar, of course, was here with us on the Kirksville campus for a long time, and we all miss him dearly. He now practices in Columbia, Missouri. He does internal medicine and bariatric surgery. He has 2 children, Beckett and Greer, ages 7 and 8. And his wife, Natalie, is a nurse in the bariatric practice as well. Thank you, Dr. Sat Molar. Dr. Karen made it. Yay! So Dr. Todd Silvera lives in Kirksville, Missouri, is married to Dr. Karen Silvera, and practices family practice in La Plata and Brookfield and Kirksville, I believe, off and on, yes. And so when asked what he remembers most, during the winter of our first year, we had a party at my grandpa's cabin at Spring Lake, which apparently they often did, and there was an old, and old was emphasized, rope swing which swung out over the lake, and this is the middle of the winter in Northeast Missouri. He said, I warned Mike Rinaldi, a classmate, that the swing was old, but he said, oh no, it will be fine. The rope broke, and Mike ended up in the partially frozen lake. So, thank you, Dr. Silvera. And Dr. Karen Silvera, I'm very glad to see was able to join us. She's a very busy lady and working in the emergency room at Northeast Regional right now, so let's hope there's no emergencies. She practices family practice as well in La Plata and Kirksville, and she enjoys being the mom, the football mom, and her horses and traveling as well. Thank you, Dr. Karen. Did I miss anyone in the class of 1991? Anyone sneak in? Okay, perfect. So thank you. Congratulations, class of 1991. At this time, we'll introduce and present the gold medallions to the class of 1966. Thank you. So this medallion will be in recognition of the 50 years of dedicated service to the osteopathic profession, their college, and it's our great pleasure to recognize you today. We hope that you'll wear this medallion at all university, college, and professional activities to identify yourself as a distinguished member of the Gold Medallion Club and the ATSU KCOM body. So as we call your name, please step forward so Dr. Wilson can present your award. Dr. Michael Brooks. Dr. Brooks is from Brighton, Michigan. He practices family and addiction medicine and psychiatry, and he remembers his anatomy table partners, and one of them put a lymph node in his partner's Coke bottle, and apparently they didn't realize it was there until it was about gone. And Dr. George Schneider, going wild, over a classmate's dissection that apparently wasn't quite done incorrectly, and while he was trying to show him how to do it correctly, he cut his own hand pretty significantly. He also remembers the Atlas House, White Castle, the nursing homes, the rural clinics, and all the fraternity activities. Thank you, Dr. Brooks. Dr. Mary Bruns. Dr. Bruns is from Rolla, Missouri, and has quite the legacy. Her husband graduated prior to her from KCOM, and I believe they have 3 children that have all become physicians and 3 son-in-laws or daughter-in-laws. Yes, son-in-laws. So 3 daughters and 3 son-in-laws, 6, so 8 immediate physicians in the family. And when asked what people or places they remember most, she said house calls in the park and a home delivery with my clinic partner, Billy Carpenter. Dr. Marian Marcucci Hardy. Dr. Hardy is in Hampton Falls, New Hampshire. She has many, many hobbies. She's a beekeeper, skiing, horses, sailing, and worldwide traveler. She's a retired colonel from the U.S. Air Force after 21 years. And when asked about her most memorable time, she said that she remembers taking a rubber dinghy to a local nearby river because they were going to ride the rapids. Well, apparently that dinghy got away from them and they had to swim back to shore, and someone had to use a paddle to pull them back. So it was quite an experience and created a good memory. Thank you, Dr. Hardy. Dr. Robert Crable. Dr. Crable is in Uniontown, Ohio. He's retired and had practiced family practice. And his most memorable memories are the Wabash General Hospital, the Kirksville Osteopathic Hospital, and the Barron Clinic. He also remembers Dr. Bill Kelly and Dr. Vernon Kasner. Thank you. And he's accompanied today by his wife Ellen, excuse me. So Dr. Richard Wilterdink, unfortunately, was unable to make it today, but he was a class rep and devoted quite a bit of time to help plan the reunion activities, and then due to a medical issue was unable to make it. So we definitely wanted to recognize Dr. Wilterdink as well. His wife Kathy was extremely excited about coming, so hopefully they'll be able to come next year and have the medallion presented in person. Their children are Richard, Pamela, John, James, Emily, and Paul, and they enjoy horseback riding, swimming, tennis, and gardening. So if you have a chance to send him a card, please do so. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Gerald Wolf. Dr. Wolf is in Costa Mesa, California. He's retired from practicing physical medicine and rehabilitation. He has 4 or 5 sons. I thought there was 3. Gerald, David, Mark, Michael, and Christopher. And he says he's an old-time sailor and enjoys woodworking, tinkering with clocks and watches. Thank you. So a number of our alumni have received their gold medallions in previous years, and we have a couple of those that are with us today. I'd like to have you stand if you would. Dr. Philip Brackett, who was also a former Board of Trustee member. Thank you, Dr. Brackett. And Dr. Robert Willis. Dr. Willis graduated in 1957. Thank you. So we have 3 alumni who are married. So they're KCOM alumni themselves, and they're also married to reunion members. So I'd like to point them out as well. We have Dr. Chris Perry, Dr. Ed Bruns, and I'm missing someone. Who am I missing? Oh, Dr. Right. Well, and actually, these are other honored guests that are here. Dr. Keith doesn't have a spouse in the class, but we want to recognize Dr. Keith as well. Dr. Keith graduated in 1971. And he and his wife, Connie was a longtime nurse in this area as well, and they reside in Herman. And Dr. Brackett is accompanied by his lovely wife, Cindy. Thank you. So for the classes of 66 and 91, we would certainly be remiss if we didn't recognize all of your partners that helped you and your support systems along the way. So if we could have a round of applause for all the significant others, that would be wonderful. Thank you. We are honored and humbled to have all of you back with us and hope that you enjoy your time here. If there's anything at all that we can do, please don't hesitate to let any of the faculty and staff know. Have I missed anyone in the room? Kind of looks like I missed someone. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Bucky, but Bucky is the Ram of Reason. Bucky is the ATSU mascot and was named after Dr. Francis Bucky Walter, who was at the time the emeritus dean and passed away, unfortunately, the same year. I believe it was 2013 in August. And Bucky is a symbol, besides being the Ram of Reason, of health and wellness, and frequently encourages the students and goes to local schools to help educate the younger children in the public schools and get them excited about health and wellness as well. So thank you, Bucky. And Bucky will be around for photos and personal time. So before we dismiss, just a couple of quick announcements. I'd like to extend a special thanks to all the Founders Day planning team members who were led by Kelly Kirkland and Melissa Parman. So if you have a chance to thank them for all of their efforts, please do so. Our appreciation also goes out to Diane Albrick in Alumni Relations, the CE program team, Dr. Billy Strait, Dr. Bob Schneider, Jan Baum, Lynn Daniels, and Debbie Western, and of course all of you reunion participants and your guests. And if you will stay seated until everyone else leaves, we are going to go right around the corner, and Kelly is going to take some class photos real quickly, and then we'll be dismissed for lunch. Lunch will be held with the Board of Trustees and also with the continuing education members in the Commons area. So it's just out the door to the right. We have ushers that will direct you, and we also have signs. So thank you all very, very much for coming, and enjoy your time here.